Hi there, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Airgun Reporter. My name is Paul Capello. For today's show, I'm joined here by my friend Guy, and we're here to check out the long-awaited Benjamin Trail NP2. That's right, we have one here in 17 and 22 caliber. A lot of people are talking about this rifle. A lot of people are asking questions. We finally have it on our test bench. We got a production model in about a month and a half ago, and that experience didn't go so well.
No, it didn't. Apparently there was a problem with the first few hundred rifles that were made, and the scope bases weren't attached properly. We mounted the scope on it and started to sight it in. I got about a dozen shots through it. Paul took about a dozen shots, and the scope rail decided it didn't want to stay on the compression tube.
That's right. There I was taking a shot. You know, the group was going actually pretty good.
Yes.
And
well.
the scope popped right off of it. Are you kidding me? Yeah, that didn't go so well. Crosman assured us that they've addressed that problem. And not only that, they invited me and Guy to go down to their Bloomfield, New York factory, which is only about 20 minutes from me, and check out how the NP2 trails are made. So let's go ahead and check out that segment. We'll come back and test out the NP2. Well, okay, folks, me and Guy are here inside of my editing suite to do the commentary on our visit to the Crosman factory. The way they have it set up there at the facility is they have an area with different stations to build separate parts of the NP2 rifle, starting with the piston. Let's go ahead and roll that tape. Okay, the first step in assembling the piston is they put the piston head or crown inside of a jig, then they put a rubber bushing on top of that, then the piston, and they bolt it all down.
Then they move it to another jig, and they have a neat little tool that puts the piston seal on for them. After they remove that, they take the rear guides, or piston skirt buttons as we always called them, and they install those.
And there we have an assembled piston. Next, he drops in the gas ram and puts the end cap on.
Next, they move on to the trigger assembly station, where the trigger housing comes pre-assembled with the primary sear. He puts it in a special jig that allows them to predetermine trigger weight and length of travel. That all gets bolted down, and the pins get C-clips on them to hold everything in place.
All right, the next part is putting on the barrel. A little bit of grease, puts it into the action, and then he goes ahead and bolts it down. And for good measure, they put a set screw in there to keep that from spinning out.
Next, they move on to a gauge where they check for barrel droop. This is so that the barrel droop is within the adjustment limits of their scope.
Yeah, I believe he said it was 30 MOA.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, that window represents 30 MOA, and as long as that circular piece of metal fits inside of it, they're good to go.
Next, you see them installing the anti-bear trap mechanism. That's to keep the barrel from snapping shut if you accidentally pull the trigger with the barrel broken.
Now he's installing the sling swivel along with the cocking arm. And here we have it, the assembled action.
Next, he installs the stock. Then he moves to the test firing station where they test for trigger function and velocity.
Hey Guy, how many times did they say they fire it?
They say 5 to 10 times for the gun to diesel down and burn off some of the factory oils.
And just before he fires, he always tests the trigger and the safety. Here he has a machine that spins on the shroud.
You can see the monocore baffles there, so it is a real shroud. It's not just a hollow tube. And there we have the completed gun. It goes to packaging, the scope gets packed with it, and it goes out to the customer.
Awesome. All right. All right, well, that was a pretty cool visit, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, thanks to the folks at Crosman for having us that day. Apparently they employ, what, about 20 people there?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, about 20 people full-time making the NP2. What were you most impressed with over there?
Well, the whole assembly process with the tools that they use and the jigs is pretty cool, but I think the thing that impressed me the most was the gauge that they had made for the barrel droop problem.
Oh, yeah.
So barrel droop isn't an issue with these new models anymore.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And wonder what happens to the ones that don't pass inspection.
I imagine they reject them.
Yeah, they probably toss them. All right, let's go ahead and do the chrony testing on the NP2. We have the 17 and 22 caliber version, so you'll get that information, and then we'll see how it shoots.
Well, let's get started.
All right, let's do it. Okay, let's try out the Crosman Premiers. All right, this is sync again. Let's do a sync. Oh my God, don't drop the gun. All right, well, so far we've got about 100 rounds through the 22 caliber Benjamin Trail NP2, and you folks have the chrony data on the 17 and 22 caliber versions. What do you think so far, man?
Well, so far I like it. Nice smooth cocking cycle. The firing cycle is just a nice solid thunk, no vibration.
That's right.
The trigger is a definite improvement over the first trail.
Yeah.
The only real gripe that I had with it so far, and that's just an issue for me personally, is the grip is a little small for my hands.
That's right. He's got big hands. I've got medium-sized hands. There's a little bit of an issue with the grip. It's not a big one, but it's kind of a little gripe that we have. Anyway, I'll show you that in a close-up later. Meanwhile, let's do the most important test we do on this show, and that's the accuracy testing.
Right, that's all that matters.
That's right. That was a bullseye.
Yes, it was.
I'll take 9 more of those, please. Pretty close. Just below it. Touching it. Touching it with the shoot and see target, but. Wow, did that go in with the first pellet?
Yes.
It did?
It did.
All right, so far.
Bullseye. I'd say it's minute of squirrel head at 35 yards.
Minute of squirrel head. I like that
Which
one.
is what it was meant for.
Yeah.
This gun is not meant to sit here and shoot at a bench.
It is definitely not. Definitely not. Let's say we try another pellet. What do you think?
Yeah. What are you going to try next?
A field target, or maybe, how about those Premier hollow points? Since this is doing pretty good.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, let's try those. Cool.
Nice shooting, man. There'll be squirrels in the bag next month.
Heck yeah.
Bullseye.
Bullseye. Again, that first bullseye. I did that last time too, didn't I?
Yeah. That's what matters, is the first shot.
Yeah. Now I just rejected a pellet. I almost went and put it in there, but I canted it as I was putting it in. I probably damaged the head, so I just tossed that one. Now, these aren't fitting as consistently in the breech as the brown box Premiers, but we'll see what happens.
They seem to be hitting as consistently.
Yeah. sometimes when the pellets are just stacking and it's going to the same hole, I can't tell on a 12 power scope. I have to see it in the editing room. So I go through there and I can just see a little bit of paper moving on the target. I know it's in the same hole.
Same hole.
There's one. That was a cool sound.
Nice shot.
Thanks. 2 for 2. I am sitting at a bench. If only you could hunt squirrels this easy. Well, I guess you can if you're shooting out your window or something. But where's the sport in that?
Nice.
3 for 3. Ooh. Okay.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice.
5 for 5. Not bad.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna call it a night, but tomorrow we're gonna come back and do the trigger testing and the sound testing. But so far so good with the Benjamin Trail NP2. All right, man, what do you say we go ahead and test out the trigger?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what it breaks at.
I'm thinking it's gonna be about 4 or 5 pounds maybe. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, this is what Crosman calls the CBT or clean break trigger. It is an improvement over the last version of it. Still a lot of play in the first stage. It's long, the first stage is long. But then again, it's not a match grade gun. This is by no means a target shooter. This is a hunting rifle right here.
Right.
So let's go ahead and test it out and see what the results are. Okay, and the average is, wow, 3 pounds, 4.3 ounces. A lot lighter than I thought it was gonna be. All right, folks, we're gonna do an on-camera wrap-up report for the Benjamin Trail NP2. First and foremost, let's go ahead and do the thumbs up. This gun has plenty of power. We got 19 plus foot-pounds in both 22 and 177 caliber. Also, they both got very low extreme spreads, which means the power plant is shooting very consistently. The Benjamin Trail NP2 also has plenty of accuracy if you dedicate the time to shoot this airgun properly. We shot our targets out to 35 and 40 yards, and for a 10-shot group coming in under an inch, that's pretty good. A lot of the pellets fell inside of the same hole as well. Now, that accuracy didn't come easily. We had to find the proper hold for the NP2. The hold that we found that works best is if you put that stock tight against your shoulder, just rest the forestock on your open palm, and then think about trigger control. There's a lot of travel in the first stage, but once you pull that first stage through, make sure that you pull that second stage rather quickly. If you do that, you're gonna see your group shrink down range.
That's right, Paul. And another thing that I liked is that the gun is relatively light. Also, it comes with sling swivels so that you can add your own sling, which will help carry it in the field all day long. And another good thing about it is it's extremely quiet.
Yep, that's right.
It's the sound of the pellet hitting the target at 40 yards is actually louder than the gun itself, so I think it'll be very stealthy in the woods and good choice for hunting.
All right, let's go over a couple of things that we didn't quite like about the Benjamin Trail NP2.
Well, for me, there was 2 things. The first, and it's with any gun in this price range, is the non-adjustable parallax scope. I prefer to be able to adjust it in my hunting guns. And the second is, for my larger hands, the grip is way too small.
That's right. We found that when we put our hand through the thumb hole, our finger was coming onto the trigger in an unnatural position, way too far inside that trigger guard. So we had to modify our hold, rotate our hand backwards to put our finger properly on the trigger. And that's just about it.
Pretty much, yeah. Other than that, it seems to be a great gun.
That's right.
With a little practice, I think anyone can be accurate with it.
Yeah, and this gun falls in between a couple models that Benjamin has already.
Right, the original Trail NP was a little bit less powerful than this one, and the Trail XL was a little bit more powerful. I think this one is a nice compromise between the two, because the XL was kind of hard for most people to shoot well.
Yeah, definitely.
This one's a little bit easier, it's a lot lighter and more compact, and I think it's a better rifle.
Okay, folks, in conclusion, what I have to say is that if you put the time and dedication into practicing with the Benjamin Trail NP2, you will be rewarded out in the field when you're hunting. For Airgun Reporter, my name is Paul Capello. Until next time, shoot safe and have fun.